Welcome into Buccaneers Total Access here with head coach Todd Bowles. First of all, Coach, congratulations. What an incredible win. I have to imagine for you that felt like everything you could have wanted in a game based off what had gone wrong the week before to show that you had addressed with the team each of those individual issues. Is that how it felt?
It was great because we got off to a fast start. You know, we haven't been getting off to a fast start, whether the offense or defense came out on the field, but the offense got out there first and they put a drive together and got us ahead. Defense went 3 and out, and that's kind of how you want it to go.
Did you have a sense going into the game that the mindset would be there, that this kind of turnaround was possible based on what you'd seen throughout the week?
They were focused all week, and we played like we practiced. We practiced good. Baker practiced great. Everybody on defense practiced great, and we played like that.
Yeah, so let's talk about Baker. 30 of 47, 347 yards, 2 touchdowns. I think it's the most pass attempts he's had since becoming a Buc. So with that kind of a performance from him, what stood out to you of what really let him kind of propel this offense to that fast start and a great game?
Just the timing and getting rid of the ball and getting his feet set, and you know, Mike involved right away, and then we got everybody else involved, and he was locked in all day long. The line gave him some time to throw, whether it was short passes or down the field passes. He was locked in all day.
Even though with the Broncos game obviously not going how you guys would have wanted, even that through 4 games, Baker is 4th in passing yards in the league, 4th in passer rating, 2nd in touchdown passes. I mean, playing at a really elite level, looking across the whole league. What do you think has stood out to you most about the first 4 games total for him and what it says about who he is as the quarterback for the team at this point?
Just running the offense. Baker's doing whatever it takes to win, and that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to win. The stats come with it, and that's great and everything, but he's doing everything he can for us to win, whether it's running, whether it's throwing short, whether it's throwing long, whether it's handing it off. He's locked in, and everybody's dialed in right behind him.
And I know he had taken some hits the last couple of games, taken quite a few sacks. What did you see from pass protection this week in particular?
I thought Liam did a good job scheming them up early. We got some quick throws out, then we got some throws medium, and then down the field, and we kept mixing it up on them, and we did a good job protecting.
And how about the offensive line in the run game?
They opened it up. You know, they got 2 horses inside in Philly, and we opened it up a little bit on the outside. Rashad had some tough runs. Bucky had some very good runs. I thought the line played solid.
And I know that you guys threw to Mike very first play of the game. That probably seemed rather intentional after his lack of targets the week before. And he ended up finishing with 8 catches, 94 yards, and a touchdown. How intentional was that to get him going early? And what do you see is what that tends to do for Mike?
It's very intentional to get him involved early. He opens up everything for everybody else. When he touches the ball, he gets going, everybody else gets going, and we run smoothly.
And then I know that his touchdown also made him the franchise all-time leading scorer with 596 points. Now joins Jerry Rice and Emmitt Smith as the only 3 non-kickers to lead their franchise in scoring. What does that stat specifically say about Mike and what he's been able to do?
That's elite company. That's just a testament to what he does year in and year out, and goes under the radar. And no matter if you double him, single him, triple him, he's going to do the same things he does every game. He's very consistent at it. He prepares for it. He's a competitor. He's a workhorse, and that says a lot about his Hall of Fame numbers.
And take us through that touchdown play.
Oh, we had a bunch set right there. We caught him in man coverage, and Mike ran a hell of a route, and Baker threw him in there.
I know that that was our first opening drive touchdown since the final game of the 2022 season. And what did that mean to the offense to be able to get that, and what specifically seemed different this game for that opening drive start?
It was great to get it going early. I mean, we were determined to get off to a fast start. The offensive line came out with the intent to be physical. We came out as a team with the intent to be physical and go down the field, and we were crisp and we were sharp, and everything worked like we planned it.
And there's one thing to say, okay, we're going to be intentional about getting Mike the ball and maybe try and force it to him the first 4 or 5 passes. But instead, it's first drive, first 5 plays all went to different players. Ended up using 3 running backs in the run game, 8 different receivers made a catch. How were you able to get so many different people involved?
It's a testament to Baker. He's just taking what they give him. If they try to take the left side away, he throws to the right. If not the right, then the middle, and whoever's over there gets the ball.
And Sterling Shepard, this is a guy who, man, coming off the practice squad, 51 yards, including a 30-yarder. What kind of spark did you see that he was able to add when I'm sure earlier in the week there was not necessarily a thought that he was going to have to even be put in that position before Jalen McMillan went down?
Sterling's a good football player. He's a pro. He practices like he's playing all the time. So when it's time for him to play, he's ready to play. He's a very good football player, very good receiver. When the other 2 went down, we had all the confidence in the world with him, and we didn't miss a beat.
And take us through his 30-yard catch and what he did well in that play.
He's a good route runner. He's a very good route runner. He can get out of breaks and cuts very well. He has very sure hands, and that's just what he did.
Now, Bucky got his first career touchdown, technically twice. Poor guy had to do it twice to get his first career one in there. Take us through that play that got him that touchdown, and then just how big a part he was of that whole drive even.
That was big because he didn't get in on 3rd and 1. They put him there a half inch short before the goal line. Then we threw him a toss play, and he was determined to get in and get his touchdown, and he got it.
I like it. And what are the things that he has brought so far this season, just even the progression you've seen from him and the ways that he's already growing a month into the season?
He's brought a different change of pace as a back. He makes the first guy miss every time. He's a very good one-cut runner when you have one guy sitting there, and almost all the time he makes the first guy miss, and he's very tough to be that small in stature, and him and Rashad make a good 1-2 punch, and they offset each other very well.
We're talking to head coach Todd Bowles, and yeah, I mean, Rashad coming off an illness, still able to put up a 4.9-yard average, a couple big receptions of 22 and 13 yards. What did this game look like for you guys in terms of the usage of both Rashad and Bucky, and both of them 10 carries for 4.9-yard averages? Is this kind of the ideal way, the way each of them was used, of like if you could put it on a pedestal saying this is what we would want out of a 1-2 punch?
I don't think it's ideal. It's never going to be ideal. It's always going to be 60-40, 40-60 one way, whoever gets going. But this game happened to even out right there, and both of them run well. Both of them were running hard, and, you know, we needed both of them.
And Trey Palmer got involved early without Jalen McMillan in there as well before he also got injured. But take us through his touchdown before he had to leave the game.
Trey was playing very fast. He was playing very fast, and when he ran that route, I know it was intent for Mike, but Mike was out of the ball game, so Trey came in, and he ran a heck of a route on a great corner. And to get that ball in there the way Baker did, and for him to catch it with Slay all over him, that was great.
Yeah, good Mike Evans impersonation.
That was great.
Cade Otton, 6 catches, including a 16-yarder. I know he had 7 catches last week after not being as involved earlier in the season. What has helped him become more involved in the pass game these last couple weeks?
We're finding ways to get him open. You know, Cade has very sure hands. He's going to be where you want him to be. And as they try to double Mike and Chris more, you know, we got to get Cade involved a lot more.
I know last week the longest completion was 13 yards. 10 minutes into this game, already you guys had 6 for longer than that by 5 different people. What seemed to go well on the chunk plays?
We got everything going. I mean, they got a tough front. You know, Liam put together a heck of a game plan, and those guys came out and executed to perfection.
And Chris Godwin passed 7,000 receiving yards, joining Mike Evans as the only players to do so in team history. So far this season, he ranks 3rd in the NFL with 27 catches, 6th with 322 receiving yards, and he's tied for 3rd with 3 touchdown catches. His consistency this season, I mean, that feels like already a thing that we always talk about with Chris, right? But this season, it feels like no matter what else is going on, whatever is happening in the game, he has been such a consistent guy. What has enabled him to be that this year in this offense?
I think he's having fun. I think he really loves the offense he's in. He has outstanding hands, and he's a great competitor, but I think he's out there just having a lot of fun right now.
And the defense, you guys held them to net 0 yards of offense in the first quarter. Lowest by a Buck opponent in the first quarter since 2002, which I think I remember them having a pretty decent defense back in those days too. What did that stat say to you about what you guys were able to do, especially early?
I didn't see the stat. I don't know if it says anything. You got to hold it up for 4 quarters, but we got off to a good start. That's all it said. We got off to a good start.
Levante passed 1,500 career tackles on the day, which means he and Derek Brooks only 2 players in franchise history to reach that milestone.
Wow.
What is, yeah, right, elite company to be in. What does that number tell you about Levante?
He tackled a lot of people. He tackled a lot of people, I'm sure. Probably anything short of Jim Brown, he's probably made the tackle on it. He's still playing at a high level. He's still playing the same way, and it's a credit to him taking care of himself, and his longevity speaks for itself.
He also got his 4th career 2-sack game. What worked so well on him getting to the quarterback this game?
I think we started a couple years ago. I know he wanted to just cover, and he didn't want to blitz. Now he wants to blitz all the time. So he's a very good blitzer. He's probably one of our best blitzers, and he can slither through or he can run you over. He's relentless when he comes, and some of it, the coverage was decent, but he had a heck of a rush against Saquon one time, and he got through and came back for the ball and got the strip sack on us. He's just a relentless player.
Yeah, I imagine that one of the stats you loved most about this game was getting the 6 sacks after only having 2 in the first 3 games. You got 2 from Levante, 1 from Vita, Anthony Nelson, Yaya, and Logan Hall. What suddenly sparked this surge of sacks after a few weeks?
Well, my biggest stat is winning, so after that comes everything else. I think we got some pressure up the middle with Vita. With Vita being healthy again, we got some pressure up the middle, and that allowed the edge guys to close the pocket off, and we still got some pressure in the middle that kept them in the pocket that allowed us to get those sacks.
And I imagine that having Vita back is just music to your ears. First half alone, he had a couple tackles for loss, sack, quarterback hit. Tell me what he means to this defense. Of how much was this evidence of just how much of a difference one guy can make in there?
Oh, he's a huge one guy.
Yeah.
He makes a heck of a difference for us. He helps the backers play faster because he keeps the linemen off of them. He opens up the outside backers because he keeps the pressure on inside the pocket where they can go outside. So he does a lot of things for a lot of people.
When you weren't sure throughout the week how his progression was going to go, how did that change the way you were game planning? What was that like to then learn kind of late in the week that he would be able to go?
It didn't change it as much. We had some things ready if he didn't go and if he did go. So it was just kind of tweaking some things here or there. But for the most part, he carried out the same game plan.
And then how different was the prep for you with the Eagles, knowing similar that, they might be without a Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown, Lane Johnson, a bunch of really big pieces for their offense that I'm sure in some ways it's nice that some of their stars aren't going to go, but then there's a lot less certainty maybe in who's going to be replacing them?
Well, you try not to worry about it because we're dealing with our own version of injuries, so you worry about the scheme more than you do the person. Obviously, they're great players and they're great receivers, but they had a quarterback, they had the tight end, they had the running back, and they have a huge O-line we had to worry about as well.
We're talking to head coach Todd Bowles. And then outside of the 59-yard run, Saquon only had 25 yards rushing. So how did you feel overall about the run defense?
If you take away that play, I thought they did a very good job.
So what went wrong on that 59-yarder?
We did not fit it correctly.
Yeah, it's a simple solution right there. Felt like every time there started to be a momentum shift, though, whether it was that play or some of these other moments like the blocked extra point, it felt like the team responded. Then whenever they brought it back to within 24-14, these moments that can be important in a game. What have you seen as the reason why, whether it's this game or the Lions game, it feels like this team knows how to respond in those moments?
Just the leadership, the veteran leadership on the team about not looking up at the scoreboard, just playing for 4 quarters and look up at the end and see what happens.
What did you see from your corners in this game?
I thought Zion and Dean played well. They got their hands on a few balls right there. We didn't get beat over the top, which was great. We gave up the 1 touchdown in the red zone down there when he scrambled and got a play out of there. But they've been playing well. The ball's not going down the field. We just got to get our hands on some more balls, but they played well.
And how about your safeties as well? We see continuing Christian Izzian stepping in for Antoine Winfield Jr. What have you seen from him and Jordan back there?
Well, Jordan's our run stopper. He does a lot of things around the line of scrimmage. He's our communicator back there. Izzy fits right in. He fits in well, and he communicates. He goes from A to B very fast, and he makes plays for us.
And then Trenton Gill coming in as your punter with Jake inactive. Tell us what went into that decision and then what you saw from Trenton in the game.
Well, Jake has been in kind of a slump a little bit. We're trying to work with him to get out of it, but Trenton put some hang time on the ball. Although his punts weren't very long, they were up there high enough so we can get some fair catches, and those guys ran down the field and high enough for us to get a fumble calls right there where the guy got pushed, our gunner got pushed into the returner, and they fumbled the football, so we got a return there. Now, he should have made that tackle on the blocked field goal. I agree with that. He was right there. He's got to tackle. If he's going to punt, he's got to tackle. So other than that, he did a good job.
Does it make it more challenging in a short week to make some of those kind of decisions of what you're going to do with him and Jake to not have more time to evaluate that?
No, you kind of still evaluate as you go. When Jake works on some things, I think Jake will be back stronger than ever. But in the meantime, Trenton's going to play a little bit.
And what happened on the blocked extra point?
He came off the edge real fast. They sent a lot of guys at our right wing, but they came off the edge real fast, and the guy made a great play.
So for you guys with preparation, I know NFL is always creatures of habit, right? Everybody kind of has their routines and the way they do things. With the hurricane coming in last week, how proud are you of the team that even with a bunch of other factors that changed things, that everyone was able to stay so focused?
I mean, that was big. That was huge. There's a lot going along around here. We're just playing a game. It's not real life. Real life is hurricanes and taking care of your family and everything else. And everybody did a good job of getting through that and trying to take care of everybody, and I hope everybody in Tampa's fine. But they came out focused on Sunday, and they played a game, but it is a game. And with everything going around us, I thought they did a good job.
And I heard an incredible story on the broadcast about Tom Moore walking to the facility in the hurricane. When did you find out about this?
When I saw Noah and he brought the ark and Tom wasn't on it, I figured he was walking the water.
That's incredible. I just feel like this is the most Florida man story, and I love it. He's truly embraced this.
One thing about Coach Moore, he's going to get to work no matter what. He will always get to work. And Coach Lewis went to pick him up, and his water was about knee high, and he made it in, and he's fine, and that's just another chapter in his book.
I love it. What does he bring to the team? I feel like it was a perfect time to kind of bring up Tom Moore and what he's brought to this team, and maybe if you have some of your favorite Tom Moore-isms.
He brings so much intelligence and humor as well. He's a very sharp football mind, one of the best I've ever been around, and he's the oldest on the staff, but he's the youngest mentally, and every time, whether you lose a game, if you lose a bad game, Coach Moore is the first to tell me to come down to the office. What did he say? He has one saying that he gets to me all the time. Dust it off, clean the rifle, and move on. That's it. Shoot your bullets, clean your rifle, move on to the next one. That's it. That's bury the dead, clean the rifle, and move on. It's the old military slang, and he says that all the time, and that kind of gets me over the hump if we lose a ball game, and he keeps going from there.
I like that. So now moving on to this Falcons game, do you feel like there's maybe a little edge to the team knowing that so many people were so quick to pick the Falcons to be the division leaders this year? Is that something that you think adds a bit of the chip on the shoulder to the guys in the locker room?
I don't think we worry about it anymore. I don't think we worry about it. We worry about what we can control. We can control what we do here. Right? The schedule comes out. We know we have to play everybody. And we deal with them the week we have to play them. We got to focus on us. If we can focus on us, we'll be fine against everybody else.
And then tell me what Raheem Morris tends to bring to teams he coaches.
A lot of toughness, a lot of discipline, highly intelligent football coach. We know we're going to get their best, and we got to be ready to play.
And how about Kirk Cousins? How has that looked, similar or different to when you faced him on the Vikings?
Different scheme, different team. Different scheme, different team. He plays smart. He plays tough. He makes great throws. They won some last-minute games. He's gotten them down the field on both of those times, and they've come through and won. So Kurt's got a lot of experience.
And then how about their run game? Kind of talk about that 1-2 punch idea of Bijan Robinson and Tyler Algier. What do you see from each of those guys individually, and then collectively what that looks like as a run game?
One of the best 1-2 punches in the league. Bijan has great vision. He can cut back. Tyler has great strength and power and great balance. So no matter who's in there, they're going downhill and they can get some yards.
And then how about the rest of their offensive weapons, guys like Kyle Pitts, their wide receivers? Who are some of the ones that stand out to you looking at that?
They got Pitts, they got London, they got Mooney, and they got McLeod. So they got a bunch of weapons out there that can play. All of them can catch the football. London's coming into his own. Pitts has always been a problem for us. And obviously when you bring Mooney from Chicago, he's very quick, he's very fast, and he's opening up some lanes for him.
And how about their defensive front?
Very active. Obviously, Grady's been there for a long time, but they helped him out some. They got Judon, they got Amenyetta. They got a very good front, and they got a very sharp secondary. Yeah, I know Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons, a couple of the best. What stands out to you about those two guys? Ball hawks. They've seen a lot of football. They make a lot of plays, and if you make one mistake, they're going to make you pay.
And now, for this being a divisional opponent for the first time this season, what are the biggest things that you feel like, is there an increased edge of it being division opponent, prime time? Does that feel like something that gets the team extra fired up?
We get fired up because we want to win. Obviously, you want to win every division game because that helps you win the division. So this is the first one we've had in a while, but it's always a dogfight. It's never about the records, and everybody thinks it's not a tough division, but between them, the Saints, and the Carolina, we always play each other tough, and whoever makes the less mistakes will win the game.
Well, Coach, thank you so much as always for the time, and again, congratulations on that win.
Thank you.